Hello, this is Eden with HelixxVR. Today I'll be reviewing Sniper Elite VR, a shooter from a franchise mostly known for shooting Hitler in the ball and iconic kill cams. You can find Sniper Elite VR on PCVR, PSVR and Oculus Quest. I'll be trying out the PCVR version with the Valve Index. Most of the gameplay is centred around shooting people at a distance with a sniper rifle, as you'd imagine. That said, it's not the only option. The campaign takes you through some brief story segments set as a recollection of an elderly man. The main portion of the game is the levels though, which come in two types. There are levels which you move through, and levels which you defend a point. With the former, most will make use of the many defensive points to stay back, take out the enemies and then move on. That said, you can just sometimes ramble on through with a machine gun, or get close up and shoot with a handgun, or mix the methods together. Other levels are more about holding a certain position, raining death down on enemies as they come to you until you run out of enemies to kill. These are heavier on the sniper usage. That said, you might just find grenades and rocket launchers too. Either way, you go through the levels with some basic optional objectives along the way. Things like completing a level within a certain time, or types of kills. The further you progress, the more models of sniper rifle and other weapons you unlock, which you can equip to a loadout. That's the general flow of the game, but how about the gameplay itself? Fortunately, for a game specialising in sniper rifles, the scopes do work well. I find some scopes in VR games pretty jarring or difficult to see through, but there's none of that here. After looking through the scope, you can press a button to zoom in further too. Hit someone in the right point and you'll get a kill cam cutscene, though I felt these got old quickly and broke immersion. Depending on the difficulty mode, bullet drop differs. Easy mode is pretty much just point and shoot, while normal includes bullet drop. I never found it made a huge amount of difference on normal shots, but it does for hitting the vital points. I played with the Index controllers, which I'm glad to report work fine. I did hear on release there were some issues with Index and Windows Mixed Reality, but I hear both are fixed. All guns are manual reload, which I found immersive and to work well. As you'd expect with the settings, most weapons need reloading fairly often, so aiming and not wasting ammo is important. Grenades and other projectiles I wasn't a fan of though. You can't throw them, which again breaks the immersion for me. Instead it's point and release, the same as the rocket launcher, though that makes more sense. Speaking of explosions, there's often plenty of items around to shoot and blow up. Easy mode makes this even more straightforward by highlighting some of the less obvious ones. I rarely find myself using these personally, but they are effective. The gameplay as a whole is fairly simple, despite some nice features and collectibles, unlocks and challenges to complete on each gun. Unfortunately, it didn't really stand out as anything amazing, and there were issues. One level in particular I felt like it was killing everyone while defending a point, but I repeatedly failed despite not seeing anyone else left and not dying, until I suddenly passed. It felt like progress wasn't clear, and the way to win wasn't obvious apart from doing what I was already doing. Performance wasn't great either. Now, I don't have the most up-to-date PC in the world, I'm still using a 1080. When I was staying in a small area, it was mostly fine. When I was running about though, it felt like the frame rate severely dipped. At one point it got so choppy that it felt like I was teleporting instead of running. The graphics themselves are just average too, with the enemies looking particularly low quality. Considering the size of the studio and the franchise, I expected more here. And the game only takes about 3 hours to play through, but it does have some replayability. It costs £23 or $30, which isn't too bad, but considering the quality, there are better options out there. Sniper Elite VR is overall a fairly average game, with some notable issues. It might be that the performance issues don't exist on the Oculus Quest or PSVR, as those are standardised, but I couldn't say for sure. My PC does exceed the recommended specs though, and still struggled. If you enjoy sniper games specifically, it might be worth playing, otherwise I'd give it a miss. Once again, this was Eden from HelixxVR. If you'd like to see more content like this, please remember to like, subscribe, and if you really liked it, hit that alert button too.